Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to Budo Belly. This channel is dedicated to helping people train in martial arts and combat sports for a lifetime. Whether you're over 40, returning from an injury, just getting started, or simply interested in the physical and mental benefits of training, you'll find evidence based discussions, practical advice, and my own experiences from the gym. Now, let's talk about an important question. Can martial arts help people recover from trauma? Have you ever noticed that people often join a boxing gym or a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy after a really difficult period in their lives? Maybe it's after a divorce, after military service, after becoming the victim of violence, or after years of struggling with anxiety or trauma. That leads us back to the same interesting question. Can martial arts actually help people recover from trauma? The answer isn't as simple as just yes or no. Martial arts are not a replacement for therapy, but there's a growing amount of interest from psychologists, therapists, researchers, and martial arts instructors who believe they can become an important part of the healing process for some people. Today, I'd like to explore why that might be. Let's discuss what trauma actually does. When people hear the word trauma, they often think only about painful memories. But trauma doesn't just affect our thoughts, it changes how we experience our bodies. Many people become constantly tense, hypervigilant, startled easily, disconnected from their own bodies, or afraid to trust other people. That's one reason why trauma treatment increasingly recognizes that healing isn't only about changing thoughts. It also involves reconnecting with the body. Now, let's talk about why martial arts are different. Most forms of exercise make us healthier. Martial arts do something a little different. They're physical, they're technical, and they're social, and they're mentally demanding. You're learning complex movements, you're solving problems, you're adapting in real time, and you're building relationships with training partners. And you're doing all of this while moving your body in ways that require complete attention. For many people, that's incredibly grounding. And one thing I find fascinating is how martial arts gradually rebuild confidence. Every class teaches you something new: how to move, how to escape a bad position, how to throw a punch correctly, how to stay calm under pressure. Over time, many people begin to feel less helpless, not because they suddenly become invincible, but because they're becoming more capable. There's something psychologically powerful about realizing I can handle difficult situations. Now, the role of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is especially interesting. At first glance, it almost seems like the worst possible activity for someone with trauma. You're in extremely close physical contact. Someone may be pinning you underneath them. You're constantly dealing with pressure. But that's exactly why some therapists and practitioners have become interested in it. When training is done in a safe, respectful environment, that controlled exposure may help some people gradually become more comfortable with physical contact and learn that not every close interaction is dangerous. That doesn't mean it's right for everyone. For some survivors, BJJ may feel empowering. For others, especially depending upon the type of trauma and where they are in the recovery process, it may initially feel overwhelming. Experiences shared by practitioners reflect both possibilities. Now, boxing has its own benefits. One thing I've noticed personally is that when I'm training, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about bills or stress or politics or anything else for that matter. My attention is completely focused on footwork, on defense, breathing, timing, and staying relaxed. For an hour or so, the rest of the world just disappears. And that level of focus feels almost meditative. And I suspect that's one reason why so many people leave the gym in a much better mood than when they walked in. Now, the community matters as well. I honestly think that one of the biggest benefits has nothing to do with throwing punches or getting people caught in submissions. It's the people. Good martial arts schools tend to have incredibly supportive communities. Everyone remembers being a beginner. Everyone helps each other improve. You train with people from every profession, every background, every age, and some even become lifelong friends. That sense of belonging can be incredibly meaningful for people who have spent years feeling isolated. Now, an important reminder, I do want to emphasize something important. I'm not suggesting that martial arts replace therapy. If someone is dealing with PTSD or significant trauma, working with a qualified mental health professional remains incredibly important. Instead, I think martial arts can sometimes become another tool alongside therapy, exercise, family support, and other healthy habits. One of the things I love most about martial arts is that they're about much more than learning how to fight. They teach discipline, patience, humility, confidence, community, and for some people, they may even become part of rebuilding a life after trauma. If you've had that experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Have martial arts helped you through a difficult period in your life? Or are you thinking about starting it for that very reason? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and check out the full article on Budo Belly, where I dive deeper into the research and share additional resources for anyone interested in learning more.